Jeffersonville.
Welcome to the fourth sports show of the year. Thank you for tuning in to WZAA 106.9 and or campusnation.com. Tonight for Wilmington College, we have head coach Brian Moore and linebacker CJ Thompson. For Wilmington High School Hurricanes, we have head coach Scott Killen, offensive coordinator Coach Josh Wolf, and Hurricane star Brent Bell. East Clinton is also in the house tonight with defensive coordinator Jeff Vanscoy, offensive coordinator Steve Olds, and co-defense coordinator Coach Brian Floyd, and senior Brendan Jenkins and Wyatt Floyd. We will be starting the night off here with Wilmington College. Last week, you guys went on the road for the second week and suffered a loss against Otterbein. Winning the first week at home to the Earlham Quakers, controlling every aspect of the game, then next week, coming off a bye, how does it feel when you coming off a bye? Do you think your kids did? Do you think the bye week affected your week this week?
Hey, I'm not quite sure yet. I thought during our bye week, I thought we practiced extremely well. There was a lot of life, a lot of great leadership, and leading up in the week into playing Otterbein, I thought we scratched together 3 really good practices too. And then I was a little disappointed how we came out in the first half against Otterbein. I thought we were a little flat. Didn't have the same energy that we practiced with. As I'm still getting to learn some of these guys and how they prepare. I got to do a better job of getting them ready to play a football game. That falls on me 100%. That's my number one job is to get them guys off the bus and at kickoff, ready to go. So I don't know if it was a bye week. I really don't know. But we did get off to a slow start, and that was certainly a concern, something that we've addressed as a coaching staff this week. And in this conference, you can't get a slow start in this conference, or teams are going to put their foot on your throat as first opportunity to get.
Now, what's been the main focus this week that you guys have set out this week, coming off a loss rather than a win against Earlham? What's been your main focus,
Yeah, I think it's separate focus. We've reiterated with the kids that the Wilmington College hasn't won a conference game since 2012, and that's been a big thing for me of saying, hey, we're still working to be a part of history, something a legacy you get to take with you forever. That's how important this game is to us, as well as every conference game. Offensively, I think we wanted to really dumb down our offense this week. I think we got a little out of control with having 2 weeks to prepare. We probably put in too much offense. And defensively, we put a lot on the players this week with formation checks and stuff like that, kind of put it in their hands to recognize things and to get us into proper coverages and stuff like that, just based on formations and stuff like that. So we've made some of those adjustments, and again, I think the thing that we seem to overlook sometimes as coaches is our number one focus has been change this culture. Change how we practice, change the attitudes, change everything that we fail to remember that our defense has played 2 games under a new defensive coordinator. Our offense has played 2 games under a brand new offense. It's going to take some time to gel on both sides of the ball. And I think that kind of got in the back of our heads a little bit as coaches, and we've kind of brought that to the forefront this week of, hey, these guys are all new to these schemes. How can we make them more comfortable on Saturday where they're playing fast and free?
Now, how do you feel coming out? You're down 28 points at halftime. You guys come back out, didn't give up. You kept fighting. Pretty much tied the ball game second half. It was a tie ball game second half. Yeah. What adjustments did you make going into halftime to make the score on offense and defense to come back and it's 28-28?
Yeah, I tell you, through my history, I don't believe in all that halftime adjustment stuff. Yeah. It's not like we go in there and all of a sudden we made up new plays we never practiced. We ran all the same plays we ran in the first half. Same thing defensively. We did the exact same thing in the second half. We just played harder. And that was our whole focus at halftime was quit watching the scoreboard. Okay, enjoy the game. You got a whole half of football. We signed up for 4 quarters. We got 2 more quarters to play, 2 more quarters to enjoy this game, and 2 more quarters to compete and earn some respect on how we perform. We didn't do that in the first half, and here's our chance to capitalize. And I think our guys just loosened up. They really did. There were smiles on their face. Their heads weren't hanging, and they competed. And defense was flying the football in the second half. Offense was running the exact same plays they ran in the first half, but they were executing them. And that was the whole difference. It wasn't a new offense, a new defense. It was a new focus more than anything. And I think collectively as a group of underclassmen, they said, all right, enough's enough. We've been here before, and in the past we've probably tanked it at this point, and we're not going to let that happen. And I think that's why it was such a huge step for us as this team showed a lot of fight. We found some character in these boys, and I don't think we're going to have to worry about that on Saturday night of coming out flat.
Now, CJ, this is your senior year, and Coach Moore comes in this year. What's some of the great characteristics Coach Moore has other than your first three? What's he brought to the table to Wilmington College?
First of all, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. He preaches to us on not giving up and persevering until the end of the game. The team that I was a part of, for the last 3 seasons, when that score got a little bit out of hand, we would have reverted to not caring, and that score would have got much more out of hand. As you see last year, they beat us 52-9, and he's come in and he's brought belief into each other. We were kind of divided under the last regime, and he's brought us closer together, preached brotherhood, preached us how to be closer together and how to rely and trust our brother on the other side to do his job.
Now, what's something that you want to leave behind to the other younger kids as a senior? And I watched you the first week against the Earlham Quakers, and I liked you. I mean, you're a solid athlete. You got a lot of good contributions to you. You're a great football player. What is something you want to leave behind at the end of the day?
Thank you for the compliment.
Yeah.
But I think what we want to leave behind is, just like the change in culture, like no more of the taking it, like we've been getting beat up on a lot, over the last couple of years, and I just want to leave like some toughness, like where we feel as though we can go in and we can compete with some of these teams. And in past years we've kind of folded, underneath some of the records that we've seen and some of the teams that we face. But I feel like when Coach Moore came in, he gave us that belief, and he instilled in us that we could actually do it and that we can compete with some of these teams. And it's nothing that they do more than what we do. It's that we have to believe in ourselves and execute and do the things that we need to do.
And I see, Coach, and when you come in, this is your first year here at Wilmington College. You're 1-1. You're undefeated at home. You have the Capital coming in this week. You guys have lost the last 5 meetings with Capital. What do you feel that Capital's greatest weakness is, to be honest?
I don't want to give too much away here.
Yeah, I got you.
I guess comparing Capital to probably Otterbein, I don't think they have as much explosive players on offense. And now, don't get me wrong, they got plenty of firepower on offense to be a nuisance all game and put plenty of points up. But as far as playmakers and depth at their playmakers, maybe not quite as much as what we saw last week. And their defense is kind of the same way. They've got some really, really good corners. I think their secondary is really good, but I don't think their front seven's quite as good or quite as physical as Otterbein. And again, that's not a knock on Capital. That's a good football team over there. But comparing the two, that would be my honest assessment.
Now, P.J. Myers coming off a back-to-back 100-yard receiving game and is 5th in Ohio Athletic Conference in receiving yards. Is 25.3 yards per reception, is 2nd in the league. Tell me a little bit about P.J.
Yeah, P.J.'s been a surprise. We kind of knew who he was. He kind of came into his own last year and ended up 4th or 5th in the conference in catches last year. And now just getting we moved him around last week. And earlier we kept him as an outside receiver. This week we moved him around a little bit more to try to get him into some different spots and get him the football. And again, it's kind of our whole offense right now as we're trying to figure out what these guys are good at and where the pieces of the puzzle fit best. And PJ's shown he's got that ability to make plays deep down the field. And going into the season, I wasn't sure if that was going to be his role or not, but it's looking here in the last couple of weeks that he can provide that, which is huge. A guy that can take the top off the coverage and open up some stuff underneath for some other guys.
Now, senior Luke Credit is leading the team in both passing and rushing through 2 games this season. He's 19 for 31, 61.3% for 316 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He's coming off a season in which he had 5 touchdown passes in 10 games. Luke, what does he have to bring for these younger kids? And I see you have a freshman quarterback that's backing him up this year. What's something Luke's going to leave behind to that these other kids can look up to, these kids?
Yeah, and that's a great question. I think Luke overall is his football IQ is very high. And he's going through it just like anybody. We're asking him to do some stuff, make a lot more decisions in our offense this year, giving him a lot more freedom than probably what he's had with those last couple of offensive coordinators. And as he gets more comfortable with what he's learning from making some bad decisions early in the season, he's going to tune those up. And by the end of the season, hopefully by Saturday night, it all starts clicking for him. But I think he's bought into the offensive system 100%, and I think that's what he's leaving behind, is he's in control of that thing, and the guys look to him, and he is the ultimate competitor. Run it, pass it, whatever he's got to do. He's a tough kid, and he finds a way to have success, and I think if that's the legacy he leaves, is just get out there and compete, find a way. It's not always scripted, doesn't always go according to plan, but he finds a way to make plays, and that's a great legacy to leave.
Now, CJ, I noticed that the ground attack over, red zone for Capital, they're 8 for 9 in the red zone. When they hit the red zone, they score 8 out of 9 times they've been in the red zone. Have you guys worked on anything specifically, on goal line defense, on things that you've done? Are you guys going to change anything up, or just keep grinding, base front, same front, you guys just keep running?
I mean, the plan is to keep them out of the red zone, so we don't even have to deal with that in the first place. But in the unfortunate case that they do, we've studied, what they like to do, and we've cross-keyed with different formations and what they like to do with yardage-wise. So we feel as though we have a really good plan as far as knowing what they want to do and taking that favorite thing away, so they have to do something else.
And I seen against Earlham Quakers when I was watching, you got shook up a little bit out. Coming in your senior year, that you don't so much ever per se want to get hurt. What's the first thing goes through your mind when you're out there and all of a sudden you get a little limb shaken up, you get your head knocked in? I mean, what are you thinking there?
It's less about me and it's more about my teammates. It's more about at that point being somebody who they can still lean on, whether I'm out there or not. Whether they can still ask me questions, they can still get lined up. I think we work best when everybody's communicating. So whether I'm out there, whether I'm not out there, I just have to make sure that whoever's out there knows what to do, or what it is that we want to do, what it is that we want to take away. But it's less about me and it's more about the team when I get hurt.
Through 2 games, Wilmington has 7 rushing touchdowns. They only had 8 rushing touchdowns last season. The Fighting Quakers had 9 tallies in 2014. What have you changed in the offense? Have you changed much in the offense due to you brought a whole new scheme in?
Yeah, I think the biggest change is using our quarterback as a third guy in the backfield, and giving him the freedom to give, pull, throw, basically triple option type of options to get the ball where it needs to be is probably the biggest change, and I think that's where you see some of those rushing touchdowns early. I think we do a pretty good job of mixing up our formations, using motions, but ultimately whoever's hand that ball goes in is not necessarily what I called. It's what Luke decides where it needs to be based on what the defense does. And I think that's the most fun offense to play in, is that even me as the offensive coordinator, sometimes I call a play and I have no idea where it's going to end up. Yeah, but once the bomb goes off, when Luke's making the right decisions, it can be pretty fun to watch.
Now, Capital's got a quarterback that is pretty much about comparison to the first week you guys faced against the Earlham Quakers.
Yep.
Have you guys made any adjustments from the first week prior to the third week against facing a guy with such caliber?
Yeah, and I think that first week was such a weird one with with a kid that just dropped back, and then you just basically play backyard football. If you take a defense that's a gap scheme team, they're all playing their gaps, but the offensive line isn't run blocking. They're just, the quarterback's just back there freelance, and so it's tough to play by the rules that you're taught and be disciplined. But I think as you get into the OAC with some of these multi-dimensional quarterbacks, those run-pass option guys, I think our discipline, the structure of our defense, and how well we're coached is going to put us in a lot better situations than what we could have prepared for against Earlham. I don't know if you can coach up what Earlham was doing and try to repeat that.
Now, Junior Jay Higgins, he leads your defensive secondary. How important is he for the younger guys to be able to look up? Because I notice he's a big factor in your secondary, and he's a key player this week to be watching.
Yeah, and he's huge because he's about the only upperclassman we have in the secondary. The rest are all freshmen. So he's got, whether he wants it or not, he's got the burden of leadership of. None of those guys, and again, that's kind of the problem we're at with our program. Jay's never played in this system before either, and so he really doesn't have anyone to look to as far as players go. The freshmen have only him to go, and he's only 2 weeks into running this system as well. So he's got that burden of leadership. He does a great job with those young kids. There's no doubt about it. And he's been banged up. He's been dealing with a groin thing, and didn't start last week. Played a significant role, but last week we ended up starting 4 freshmen and tried to limit what he could do so we didn't lose him for the year. But when he's in there, he's a 6'4" kid. He's dynamic, he's rangy, and as far as sticking him on a receiver and being confident playing one-on-one when he's not in a game or can't play it, that changes the structure of our defense, because now you're dealing with 4 18-year-old kids out there seeing college football in the OAC for the very first time.
Now, CJ, we're talking about Higgins here, and during the off season at Wilmington College, what has changed so much since coaches took over in January? What's changed in the weight room, preparing for the next year, getting ready, getting psyched? What's the things that's changed?
Intensity, just the intensity period. We were kind of going through emotions last year. You wake up super early, 6 o'clock in the morning, so you get there and you're like, you sometimes you don't want to be there, sometimes you do want to be there, but with Coach Moore, you have to give all you got whether you want to be there or not, because these teams are working very hard. They're working just as hard as we're working. They're getting up as early as we're getting up. So we have to put in more work in the same amount of time than they do in that time. So it's just been a refocus in on what we need to do, and not so much as being mundane and going through the motions.
Now, as a player, did going on the road for the first time, did it feel any different being at home, maybe big crowd at home your first week? You had a lot of kids coming in, recruits coming in, watching you, seeing what you do. You're in there doing work. Was it any different? Did you feel any different the first half than you felt the second half?
As a senior, personally, no, I didn't feel any different, because you go through these games and you kind of get a feel for them, and you know how you're supposed to prepare. But you drop a lot of first-year guys in the middle of homecoming. So, they have, bus loads of people coming. Wow. They have people everywhere. And some of these guys have never seen, a big crowd. But it wasn't, too much out of our realm. It was just something that we needed to, slow ourselves down and sort of get into things, because we were kind of slow getting off the bus. I think we had a little bit too much time to prepare. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff went in. We had a little bit much to think about. When you think about a lot of things, you kind of play slower. So the less you have to think about, the faster you can play.
Yeah, and what are you guys, as a coaching staff, coming out? I mean, you guys played incredible the second half. Right. I mean, you guys played incredible. What's the difference this week? What can you tell the community? What are you going to do to come out just like you did come out in the second half as you did the first half?
Yeah, again, I don't think it's going to be anything that we do schematically. Yeah. I think it's just a part of growing up. I think our kids playing that second half and seeing how much fun this game can be, no matter what the score is. When you go out and you play hard, you compete hard, you run around, good things happen to you. But if you're second guessing yourself and wondering, when the hammer's going to fall, and you play tentative, that's when teams jump on you. So I think, if you come out to the game on Saturday night, you're going to see a team, from warm-ups through the fourth quarter, no matter what's on the scoreboard. I don't think our kids care anymore. Right now, they're excited about the game of football. They're excited about what this team can be. They got a little bit of taste of it in the second half of what our potential, what our ceiling really is, and I think they can't wait to jump back on board and test it again and see where we're at.
Now, you've coached a couple other places in your lifetime. Being at Wilmington, being in this environment, Clinton County, what do you like about being here, being what I call home,
Yeah.
what C.J. Thompson calls home now, you call home now?
Yeah.
And what do you feel about this community?
I tell you, I grew up in Northeast Ohio, went to Brookfield High School just outside of Youngstown, in the middle of Warren, Sharon, Pennsylvania, and I think just this whole Midwest, they're tough kids, and I associate well with them because they can be coached. They can be motivated. They'll respond. I seem to get along well with those kids. I've coached in West Virginia. I've coached in Virginia, and it's a different type of kid. It's a different type of upbringing. The Pee Wee football coaches are different, but here out in whether it's Toledo, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Dayton, Youngstown, wherever it is, if you're in the state of Ohio, Northern Kentucky, Lexington, Louisville, if you're from 2 hours around here, you're passionate about the game of football, and I can coach passionate kids, and that's a great part. Clinton County got tough kids, man. There's no doubt about it, and those kids, I can coach those kids every day, no matter what.
And I love the way you said, I said, are you going to go out amongst the county everywhere else? You're going to go out of the state and recruit kids? You said, no, I want them right here.
Yep.
We have football in Clinton County.
Yep.
It's great football players. A coach like you, and I respect you. I really do. And I think these kids, you give opportunity for them to play for you. I do believe that this culture is completely going to change here at Wilmington College, and I believe you have the tools to get it done.
And I think it's already started, to be quite honest with you. I don't know how evident it is outside of our program, and to be quite honest, I'm not worried about outside of our program at this point, but I know with the kids that we have, they're emptying the tank. They're exhausted at the end of every practice. They're exhausted at the end of both games that we play. They're going to be exhausted Saturday night when we get done with that game. I can't ask anything more than that right now, than to give me all you got, leave all the garbage off the field, and enjoy this game of football. And right now, they're doing that. They're doing every bit of it, and it's exciting for me because I don't think they have any idea how big this thing can get, but they're starting to get a taste of it.
That's it. Now, CJ, I want to talk a little bit. When you come in 2-a-days in camp, and 2-a-days, 3-a-days, whatever you guys have there at Wilmington College, your first bit of Coach Moore's practice schedule, the things he does. Talk a little bit about your defensive coordinator and how your relationship with him is.
Coach Moore is very organized. That's probably the main difference from last year to this year. Everything moves, and it moves with a purpose, and it's moving fast. So you got to get where you need to be. As far as the defensive coordinator goes, me and Coach Philly get along just fine. I'm in his office. We watch film. I've probably been in his office more in these 3 weeks than I've ever been in the last coach's office for the last 3 years. So we've kind of hit it off. We're kind of similar in
very similar. Yeah.
we're kind of similar when it comes to being fire and being a competitor. So I identify with him there, and he identifies with me there. But also, competitors bump heads as well. But we never let that, go any further than the field. We get it hashed out, and everything's fine. The players love him. I love him. It's like he's been here the whole time. You don't feel that he hasn't been there. If people came in and they came to a practice, you would think that this staff had been here for years. The way we communicate with each other, and the way we laugh, and the way we talk to each other. So it's been refreshing.
Now, last year as a junior, the defense, how has it changed? Was you in a 4-3 front, 5-2, 5-3? I mean, what kind of front are you in basically from last year to this year? What kind of front, and what front do you like to run as a linebacker?
We were in the 4-3 last year, and we're in the 4-2-5. Now, it's a little similar, but the difference is the overhang player, which we have a special one in Steve Broussard that we didn't have last season, and the fact that he got injured, so we weren't allowed to use him. So seeing what Steve become and where, he fits into the defense has really helped the defense. As a linebacker, I don't really have a preference. We play. We see the open hole. We go through the open hole, no matter what the defense is. 3-3-5, 4-2-5, 4-3, no matter what it is. See the hole, you go through the hole, tackle the running back.
And just basically playing your responsibility.
Do your job.
And you know how it is when you're out there. It's a little bit easier when you don't have guards pressuring on you. You don't have a center pressuring on you. Maybe sometimes you can scrape free. If you got a stun on the backside, you can scrape free and come through the gap without a man. And it's the best thing. And talking about, I wanted to talk real quick about it because I watched you against the Earlham Quakers, and I loved your style. I liked how you scraped. I liked the way you moved. The big thing is that big hit. Are you always looking for that? You got 14 tackles this year so far, 7 each game. I mean, are you the leader of the defense? Do you call the plays? You do the things?
We all look for the plays just to make sure that there's no miscommunication. But I've been, like Coach said, I've been pegged as that leader, which I've never had to be before in my life. So it was new for me. But the guys, they gravitate toward me, so I have to use that, and I have to, give all I have so that they give all they have, and we can put a successful a team out on the field.
Now, what's something CJ earlier has brought to the table for you as a coach other than any other linebacker that you've coached?
He brought a presence, and I think when we met with every player before, me and Coach Philly sat down with every player when we first got here and wanted to learn a little bit about everybody, and we tagged about 7 kids and we're like, hey, these guys, if we can get them on our side and we can get them to believe in what we're doing wholeheartedly, it'll trickle down to everybody else. We can captivate this program, and that's what CJ's done, not just for the defense, but for our program overall. He is a big voice. He is a loud voice, and I think some of his leadership qualities early were to yell and scream and be a powerful voice, and I think what he's really started to learn is how powerful that voice can be, and what he's done lately is he's turned that into a positive, and I think he's starting to reap the benefits of being a positive, loud voice, because people play hard for you, and people play hard out of fear. There's no doubt about it, but longevity of leadership is always when it's about compassion and caring about people. And I think he's no longer afraid to show that, hey, I'm not yelling at you because I care about you, and now he's geared more towards a positive, and it's been overwhelming. It's fantastic.
Now, real quick, we're wrapping up here. What's one thing that Capitals better look out for Wilmington College coming in here?
We're going to throw about 7 flea flickers, and we're going to blitz 12 people 7 times.
All right, well, it's good having Wilmington College and C.J. Thompson here tonight, and Coach Brian Moore.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Thanks you guys coming in. Yep. I love it. Hey, and I'll see you next week here on WZA 106.9. Thank you, fellas. Flea flicker, top 10.
7 of them.
I love it.
Dude, he's the best. You got a 12 defender on nobody?
Yeah. Thank you very much. We got to get out to practice. Hey, good luck. Be good. Yep. Hey, good luck, Slide in. Boone, slide in. Okay, that's all his stuff. Crap, I don't know if I sent him. I don't think I sent him my stats.
I think he acted like he had him. Okay, so one thing you gotta remember is the left button. You press it when it turns green, you're live.
Keep the microphone in front of your face. It's very directional. So
You point it this way, we're not gonna pick you up very well. All right? Okay. All right. You'll have to turn yours on, Scott, I think. You on there? Try and turn it. When it's green.
I'm good, right?
Alright, before you guys get started.
Smile for the camera.
Oh, it's got a, what are you doing with your
Welcome back to WZAA 106.9 and or campusnation.com. Now join us is Wilmington High School Hurricanes. So, Coach, coming off a big win, winning the Tulip Bowl, bringing it back. 1926, you win since you played Blanchester.
You do realize that that's your trophy, right? I mean, you made that up. It's the Wise Cup trophy.
But it's good. Hey, in my mind, since 1926, you guys won. What did you feel coming out? You guys had a slow start coming out last week against Blanchester.
We did, and give Blanchester a lot of credit. They did some things we didn't see on film. And going into it, I knew, like knowing Blanchester, they're going to come out and play hard, and their kids competed. They're a young squad, and, one thing we tried to do was get on top of them early and really just kind of slow down their momentum. They did some things that kind of slowed us down, and then we had some miscues, some misblocking assignments, some misreads, missed assignments on defense, and to kind of allowed them to stay around. And as a staff and as players, we were definitely frustrated, but hopefully we learned from it. We've had a good week of practice this week moving on, so hopefully we learn from it. And Blanchester's going to be good. They're very young. I was very impressed with their running backs and their quarterback being a freshman. Thought he threw the ball very well. We got some pressure on him, and he still delivered some key passes. So.
Their quarterback, like you said, their quarterback as a freshman, about 6'2", 185, 170.
He can sling it.
Oh, he really can. He's very pocket present.
Yeah.
I like the way he moved. But the way you guys made adjustments, handled him, you guys really come out and after the first quarter and really turned it on.
We did. I think leading up, that was probably our best defensive game. And one thing we preach all the time is for our defense is give the offense the ball back. You put them in a position to score. We had one special teams breakdown, which we weren't really happy about. Learned from it, but we got some. And we've had a good week of practice on the special teams wise, doing some different things. But offensively, just give it time. Let our kids see what's going on. Let the game slow down. They're going to make adjustments and go.
And talking about at the beginning of the game when the safety happened there with Brady.
Yeah.
Talk me through that. It's what, 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 20 on the 10-yard line. And he rolls out. Talk me through that play.
Well, he didn't really roll out. He dropped
back.
He dropped back. The line just missed the block, and instead of just throwing it away, he took a sack. And one thing about Brady is, as much as we want to sit here and say, he's returned from last year, he's still a sophomore. And he's still going to have those moments where he makes young kid mistakes, and hopefully we grow through that. But at the same time, we had him in early the next morning. We watched film with him and just showed him, look, just throw it away. Live to see another down. Don't take it. Throw it away. 'Cause, we had guys open. He just looked the wrong way.
What's your main focus coming into this week? This week coming into East Clinton, you have a couple guys get hurt, little shaken up there. One went to hospital. What's your main focus coming in, bouncing back, even after this win?
To get better in all three phases. That's our goal every week, is to continue. And I say this, I've said it before. I'll say it again to you on this show, that we don't worry about who our schedule is or who we're going to play. We worry about us. We have 4 days in practice to prepare. We want to compete. We want to get better every single day, those 4 days, to make our team better. If we do that, we should be, we feel pretty confident going into Friday night.
Does it concern you, not as a coach, not you, but the players, to in the back of their mind, easing up a little bit or something when after you play the schedule you've played? Now you're playing East Clinton. For them to ease up, or are they disciplined enough to? They don't care who they play. They're going out and.
No, they run and do more hits. Right, Coach Wolf? So yeah.
I mean, I knew your answer, but I wanted to ask that.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to allow that. You know, human nature tells you, especially coming out of, you know, a team that's ranked number 4 in Division 4 and 2 big GWalk schools. Yeah, and you know, I felt last week against Blanchester there was a little bit of mental letdown. Hopefully, we have that fixed.
Right.
Hopefully that, you know, our seniors and the kids understand where we could go.
Right.
You know, and you know, we talk all the time. It's not us, you know. We get to come back as coaches and coach next year. For the seniors, they're down. You know, they have 6 games guaranteed left, and those really aren't guaranteed when you think about it. We have 6 scheduled games. You know, barring injury for them, they have. You know, that's what they have left. Take advantage of those opportunities to get better and make the most out of your senior year.
For a split second, I did forget between that hard schedule, you did have Blanchester before East Clinton.
Yeah.
And there's where the mental letdown can come in because, you know, they relax a little bit. They're thinking, okay, we got this game and we'll move on. I mean, it happens every sport. And you can, as coaches, can preach and preach and preach, but it's kind of hard to get into their.
Well, and hopefully we work through that and hopefully we're ready to go tomorrow night.
Now, Coach Wolf, I noticed you guys, you and Coach Scott Killen have some past history, and
we do some good, some bad. We won't go into the bad.
No, coming on when Coach asked you to come on and be an offense coordinator, what was your thought process? Things bringing your family here, doing what you done. Walk us through that.
Well, it's pretty much a done deal once he got the job at Wilmington. I lived here at the time, was teaching and coaching at Franklin High School in Franklin, Ohio. So to have the opportunity to come and coach here, be here where I live, and have it easier for my family to come to games. At the time, I had a newborn and a 3-year-old boys. And to pack them up and take them to Franklin every Friday night for a game, that was, I mean, my wife should win Mom of the Year all the time. So, but now to be able to do that and just drive 5 minutes down the road to Alumni Field or wherever we're going for them to be there, to me, that was a no-brainer for my family and with Scott. Obviously, Scott and I have known each other for
a long
20 years, 21 years.
Sorry about that.
Played the same position in college, so we sat in position meetings together, and we lived together in a house. So I've given him love advice, even though he's still married to the same person I was probably not giving such good advice to. So thank God he never listened to me on that one. So yeah, we've been through a lot of good, a lot of bad. I mean, I was there. I remember the day. You know, he called me and told me they took his dad to the hospital the day before his first varsity coaching game. I was actually off work that day moving myself, so like my attention immediately went to the team and went to what can I do to make sure that he doesn't need to worry about anything that's going on with his team. We got it taken care of. You go be with your family, go be with your mom, go, you know, worry about that. So yeah, I've been there for the good, been there for the bad, and I wouldn't have it any other way, really. So
that's awesome, man. And you know, the past 4 weeks, I've watched the last couple games. I'm digging the offense. I like the offense you're calling. I really do.
Well, thanks. I appreciate
the quads. Well, I like the quads. I like the little bubble routes you run. D. James, how important is he in your offense?
Well, I think we run a lot of zones, so the running back, it doesn't matter whether it's DJ or whoever's back there. The zone play is really important to how our offense goes. So if we're not running the zone very well, you know, we're probably struggling. So we're fortunate enough we have DJ, who's a 2-year player for us at the running back position. North and south, he's probably as fast as anybody that I've had at running back, probably the last 3 or 4 years running this offense. And he can make guys miss. So you throw that combination out there and you're running the zone, he has great vision with it too. So not everybody can run zone because there's really no set landmark for the back. I mean, you tell him, okay, your aiming point's the guard, but he may head to the guard, but he may bounce it, he may punch it up in there, or he may cut back. There's no telling where he may go with that. So
he has deceiving speed.
He does.
And my partner, early when we did one of your games, he was like, Well, DJ ran outside, got a few yards back, but he's not a really fast runner. And then the next play, he cuts it loose. He goes, maybe he is a pretty fast runner.
Well, and see, going into it, you know, he was hurt all preseason.
Yeah.
With, you know, he got his knee banged up, so against Valley View, we didn't know what he could or couldn't do. And then all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, and Coach Wolf's wheels started spinning. Next thing you know.
When DJ's running, and then when you run a jet sweep with Dylan's got them moves. He's so agile. He reminds me a lot of Barry Sanders type moves, things that he does. He moves so well. Dylan's great.
Well, I hope so.
When it comes to
Barry Sanders type move.
I'm serious. He's a solid running back.
Yeah.
And
the great thing about it is, we were blessed with great athletes. There's no doubt. At the running back, you have Dylan, and then Matt Smith, and you have all the other guys that play. I mean, that's the key. It's the Jimmies and the Joes that make the coaches. You know what I mean? So the players make us. We're good because of them. So I call a great game because the players execute what we're doing. So it's about the players.
It helps with your team because with your quarterback, Dylan, and the running back, DJ. All of them can run.
Yeah.
We mentioned the other day that with your quarterback, Brady, he reminds me a little bit of the Florida quarterback a few years back.
Tim Tebow. He is. He's kind of like it.
He's a big husky.
He really is.
He can run.
Timmy T.
If only he had his leadership skills, that would be even better.
But he is a sophomore. I mean, a lot of juniors. Now, talking about upperclassmen, Brett Bell we have tonight.
Yes, we mentioned your name quite often on the game the other day.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you, the other night, I watched you play the other night, and I love the way you flow to the football.
Thank you.
What's some of the things you've done this year or this past off season per se? What's some of the things that you've done to get where you are right now?
Well, as a team, we've all worked together and we've worked out together and we've built leadership. And as a senior class, we've all built leadership, and that all translates onto the field.
How do you feel about that as a player? Doing the importance of being together off the field your senior year and doing a lot of things, not with football, but just being together and doing things as a group.
That translates on the field huge. That translates on the field good, big time. If you are together and you do things together as a whole group, there's nothing that can beat that.
Seems like you keep talking about we and we and we.
It's not about me. It's about
that is it.
We're all
that's what I love.
Great answer, Brett.
Hey, but that's what I love about you and hearing that. What's Brett? What has he brought to you and the football team? What's some other things to look out for him in the upcoming weeks? Look out for Brett Bell.
Well, I think defensively, you're going to see him. We're going to move him around just because he has a motor, and trying to do some different things defensively to get pressure, to some different blitz packages coming in. And Brett understands, and Brett just goes. He's a great leader. Offensively, Coach Wolf's starting to kind of work him into the mix a little bit and do different things with him. And Brett's on every single special team, so he's one of those warriors. He's gonna if he had to play the entire game and never come out, that's what Brett's gonna do. And I think as a senior, as a leader, that's great leadership, leading by example that Brett displays. And the past couple of weeks, he's been more and more vocal, which we've been trying to get the seniors to do from the get-go. Like today, we didn't have a very good practice today, and Brett called him over on the sideline and kind of got into him a little bit, and that's all we ask,
Now, are you related to Rory Bell?
I am not. We're no relation.
Okay. We were mentioning that on the air the other day. We got to find this question out. The two Bells. When you see two last names, that's you got to find out.
No, you're also, of course, going into the third week. You had 7 tackles. How many tackles you have this week?
I couldn't tell you. I have to keep track of the stats. It's
Our defensive stats are kind of off, so
Okay.
yeah, we're kind of working on them as we go.
A lot. We'll just put that down, right?
Because we was announcing you quite a bit, and I was like, look at Brad Bell. This guy's all over the place.
What's nice is because once we learn that number, the name just flops out there real quick. So when if we're flopping the name out there that quick, that means you're doing a lot because we don't have to look down at the sheet to see what number it is.
What do you expect East Clinton to come out and do this week? Your game plan for this week, what do you expect? I mean,
Well, really, our game plan really hasn't changed much from the past 3 weeks. We're going to do what we do. Showing on film, East Clinton's going to be a man-to-man team. They're going to spread us out and kind of look for the just little easy routes. In the pass game, they're going to try to outflank you in the run game, so we're worried about us and what we can bring to the table.
Are they a running or a passing team?
They kind of do a little bit of both
Okay,
from the film we have seen.
So they're not overly a running team?
No, I'd probably say 50-50.
Okay.
Now, this week, preparing for this week, as of the past 3 weeks, Coach Wolf, what have you guys made any adjustments to your offense, or are you pretty much going to basically stay the same?
I mean, we keep it simple, to be honest with you. We don't do a whole lot of stuff. We try to do what we do well, and so that way when we're playing, we don't have to think about what we got to do. We can just play fast and do it. So this week, yes, we're always prepared for the defense that we're going to face. We're going to face a physical defense this week. Those guys play hard. They fly the football. So when our guys up front got to be ready to go. They weren't ready last week against Blanchester, and hopefully we learn from that experience and we can grow up from that so we can be ready to go to match the other team's intensity. That's our goal, is to match the other team's intensity. Sometimes we don't do that, and when that happens, we let up. We let guys slip through and we don't get going. But offensively for us, we try to keep it simple. Obviously, when you throw some quads look out there, you don't see that on film a whole lot. So, like when we're preparing for how teams are going to line up to our 4-receiver set or quad stuff, we just kind of guess, to be honest with you. Get a good look at it early on in the game so we can see from there and then adjust from there. We have a lot of different things that we can do out of it. We've yet to really touch what we can do out of the quads look. So, obviously the biggest thing is protection, right? You only have 5 guys, so if they send 6 or 7, we got to either get the ball out, make sure we have a good protection sound, so make sure our quarterback gets rid of the ball fast and before they get to them. So, I expect them to come out firing bullets. They're going to play man. They're going to blitz us. They're going to probably do all kinds of stuff to us that we haven't seen, and that's what I expect. So.
Blanchester seemed to be keying on running back
DJ
Ames.
And the scary thing is he still had over 200 yards rushing.
That's what I'm saying. Right off the go, every time he got the ball, he didn't get the first 2 or 3 touches. They were right on him.
Yeah.
And then he still comes
to the one thing, to Blanchester's credit, they came out in a 3-4 defense when they had shown a 4-man front all year long. So we hadn't faced a 3-man front since the Valley View game. So look at Greenville, you look at Butler, we're facing 4-man fronts against those guys. We prepared for a 4-man front all week long. Right. So when they came out in a 3-man front, our guys up front, and we talked about it for the game, look, they may not do what we worked on all week. We got to adjust and be ready to go, and it took us a while to do that. So
real quickly,
I give Blaine credit for
question.
That.
You as a coach probably don't like to think of this in a way, but looking at the Massey game, and knowing East Clinton and knowing your team, if you happen to get that big 50-point lead at halftime, how soon do you, in this situation?
What Massey game are you talking about? I don't know.
Massey and East Clinton.
Oh, didn't see it. Don't care.
I'm just saying,
he don't like Massey. We've already brought it up.
That team.
He don't like Massey. Neither do I.
That team to the
Scott
west.
don't like Massey, man.
Well,
I don't either.
That team East Clinton played to the west of Wilmington. All right.
Give me some, Scott, on Massey.
I'm like Scott. I used to.
Come on, Rick. You gotta warn him. Come on.
I can't.
But anyway, what I say is, my point is, you're getting ready to go into the meat of your league. How do you think ahead of time about resting guys early, or are you still going to play going into the fourth quarter?
We're prepared to play a 4-quarter game, and
that's what I'm saying.
That's
thing when you're playing an opponent like this. If something like that happens, or are you just saying the same thing?
No, I mean you don't know what's going to happen. We're going to take one play at a time, one series at a time, 1 quarter at a time, 1 half at a time until we get 4 quarters in. So.
I mean, it scared us last time when we saw DJ limping off the field. We're afraid, okay, he's out. We even said he's probably not coming back in next day. No, there's DJ.
No, he's fine.
But you know what? That's tough football players. And you know what? When I'm out there and when I played football, I wanted to be out there every snap I could be out there.
Yes.
Whether you're up 30-0, 35-0, 40-0. I mean, it's my time to play.
Right.
My time to shine. And I think a lot happens if you take your players out early in the second half. Maybe you do that 4 weeks in a row. How much would that hurt when you go against a team that with a high caliber offense, defense?
I don't know. We've never done that, so I don't know. I don't know.
To play them, but yes, it would be tremendous. I mean, that would be tough. Another question I had, Brett, you play fullback as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. They had a nose guard for Blanchester he was tough. I seen you guys went to the heavy package down inside. You went to fullback.
Yes, sir.
All right. What was he like?
You know what? He was hard-nosed. He gave our center a hard time, but over time we played through it, and our center Brummett, he ended up getting it together at the end there. But overall, I thought he was a very good player, and I thought he played very well that game.
Now, being a fullback like yourself, does it really matter too much about getting carries, or are you just willing to do what it takes?
I just want to do what's best for the team, and if wherever I'm at, I just want to fly around and have fun with my friends, and wherever I play is best for the team.
What's the leadership been like going into this year as a senior? Like I said, what do you want the younger kids to see from Brent Bell?
I want them to see how I set the tone on the field and to translate that through the next years that they play. As it all starts as a freshman, you watch your seniors and you want to be just as good as they are, and it all starts at freshman year to sophomore year to junior, and before you know it, you're a senior, and you just want to work past to be better than those seniors.
Now, beginning of the year, what was your ultimate goal and personal goal coming into the year?
My personal goal coming into the year would have been just just have fun on the field, man. It's my last year. I want to do what's best for the team and have a winning season and go out with a bang with my friends.
When you came in as a freshman and then as a sophomore, who did you watch? Who did you learn from? Who did you go, that's the guy I want to be like?
There's a couple guys that I could look back on as a freshman and say I wanted to be like them. A couple of them would have been Michael Zitney. He was a hard-nosed center, man. There was no one like him that came through this program. He was hard-nosed. Him or Garrett Rawlings, great running back, runs hard, never gives up. And there was a lot of seniors that were hard-nosed. Andy Fisher, he was a good safety.
I mean, those are names and blasts from the past there, Brett. That's good ones. Those are good ones.
No, with you've had Coach Killen all 4 years. As an 8th grader coming in, the Wilmington job opens up. Did you have any idea or any idea who Coach Killen was?
Yes. Actually,
Brett and I have a little history. So.
Yeah. See, I used to go to Clint Massey all through elementary, and I was ball boy for Clint Massey.
So they recruited you.
Where did you go?
No, just
that team from the West. That team from Wilmington.
He recruited you. No, I'm just saying.
But I moved here in 6th grade.
Yeah, things will make it investigated again.
I'm just teasing. I'm joking. Go ahead.
Anyway, I moved here in 6th grade before he came here, so
he recruited me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where you guys, Coach Killen, where you guys right now in OSHAA, where you guys rank right now in the computer rankings?
No idea.
You don't have no idea?
Nope.
You never get on and look at that?
Nope.
You don't care.
What's the most important thing to you?
Winning this week.
What about next week?
That's important too. But we're not there yet. We're on week 5.
This game ain't over.
Exactly. See,
I didn't even ask him who he plays next week because I figured that wasn't in his mind yet.
So, this week, going to East Clinton, coming off another win. You guys are 3 in a row. Do you look for East Clinton to do anything different this week?
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you go to, any game we face, we're going to see something different. We know that. Teams are going to try to, punch us in the mouth in the first quarter. So we tell the coach or all the kids and as a coaching staff, we try to reiterate having a swing first mentality. We want to swing first somehow, some way. If you look at all the games except for, even Blanchester, we swung first. So all our games so far, we've done something to impact in the first quarter. So that's our goal, is to swing first. Yeah, we scored first in every single game. Just one game we couldn't close out. And that's a game I think we still all want back, but we're not going to have that opportunity to get back. I think if the kids, we could have that game back, and we do, I think we're at a place now where we could, probably a little bit different outcome. But, but they're going to try, who knows what they've been practicing. It's league. It's not league play, but it's kind of league play. And they're just going to try something. We just got to be ready to counter it and be ready for it.
Now, is there anything this year at Wilmington? Is there anything different, and you feel different about your team, per se, of your leadership?
I tell you what, we talked about this. I think it was last week. We really enjoy these seniors. They're all bring a different kind of character to the field. And I know for me personally, I can't speak for Coach Wolf and stuff, but I've really enjoyed this year with this team, and the seniors are the ones that stand out and kind of set that tone. I mean, there's a blast to be around. Now, do we want to work hard? Yeah. Do they work hard all the time? I wish I could sit here and say yeah, but we have those moments because they're 17, 18-year-old kids, and dealing with 64 kids that kind of go, the roller coaster ride that they have. But I say overall, I've really enjoyed, this year because of the seniors.
Now, I see your, of course, your A-gaps and with Austin Brummer playing center there last week was kind of exposed. I mean, I could see it in the box. You could see it.
We talked about that on Saturday and on Monday and Tuesday, and so yeah, that's one thing we talked about was why wouldn't teams come up and give us an odd man front when our center struggles with getting that block one-on-one. So I fully expect to see that again, whether it's this week or next week or whenever. But why not? Why wouldn't you do that especially if you watched last week's film? So I think it's coming again. So we've challenged Austin to get better and not hold, number one. I mean, you can't hold like as much as he did. And now I will say this: sometimes there are phantom holds on there, but really a ref could probably call holding on every play. Because it happens probably on every play.
And I do give credit to Austin Brummer. He is an animal. He's a tough kid,
because
regardless.
We challenged him and we ripped him in the first quarter. We've ripped him on film, and he does. He steps up and he keeps coming back, and he's like, all right, coach, I'll do it again, and he keeps fighting hard. And
the person sitting to your right has been the nose guard this week.
And he's tough to block.
He's tough to block.
I'm going to ask a question, if you don't mind. People around Wilmington now know, they know who you are by name.
Unfortunately.
By name. But who is Scott Killen to Wilmington? Let the people. Okay, when you came to Wilmington, what did you bring with you? What did that wasn't here before you got here that's changed this attitude of this school and football program to where it is today? What is Scott Killen, and what did you bring to the program here at Wilmington?
Man, I have no idea.
That's Scott Killen, dude. That's Killen.
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I mean, I never really think of it that way, and I'm never going to think of it that way. You know.
Well, let people know who you are. What's your concept of coaching? What's your belief?
Listen, man, when you got a name, the last name of Killen.
Yeah.
That's all you got to say.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
That's it. We're going to wrap up this show.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. We'll wrap up the show.
That's good because I'm about ready to get my kids here.
Hey,
All right, man,
Coach
thank you
Killen,
for
it's
having
good
us.
having you.
Thank you.
Coach Wolf,
Thank you.
good luck tomorrow against East Clinton.
All right, thank you.
I hope you guys have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
I think I've heard of you before. I never thought he was getting red. All right, he's Clinton. Oh, they're coming in now? Man, I'm getting up. Give me a drink. What do you want? The Diet Mountain Dew. Diet Mountain Dew. You know what? You're still a veteran.
Hey, have Brendan and Wyatt. They'll slide over here. Yeah, Brendan and Wyatt slide in. And
I'll take the chair. I got this. I'm walking this up.
How you doing? How you doing?
How you doing? All right.
I'll be nice. I'm an alumni.
I trust you.
Okay. Let me go pee real quick.
Yeah, they ran to the restroom.
Jeremy here?
No.
He couldn't make it.
He could make it.
Coach B, Coach
.9 WZAA LP, Jeffersonville.
You got to scoot on around. Coach B's got to get in here too.
Oh, Coach B's got to get in here?
Yeah. So keep going. You got it, Steve.
Yeah, maybe. Ooh, hey. I'm sitting with my crack in that thing right there.
Here we go. You guys got everybody got turned on.
I got mine on.
Coaches, yeah.
Right here.
What do you do? Just
No, this right here turns it on. You have mute. It'll go red.
Give it to Wyatt.
So, welcome back to WZAA 106.9 and/or CampusNation.com. Our third segment of the night, we have defensive coordinator, Coach Jeff Vanscoy for East Clinton. We have Coach Olds, offensive coordinator, and we have assistant defensive coordinator, Coach Brian Floyd and Wyatt Floyd, and Brendan Jenkins join us tonight. It's nice to have you guys.
Thanks for having us.
So last week, you guys coming off a big victory against Greenfield McLean. How big was this victory this week?
I feel like it built a lot of character and morale for our team. You know, losing 3 straight games and to a couple teams where we thought we could be in it, and we made some big mistakes that can't take back now. But we got the win against Greenfield, and that was huge. Give us confidence on through the season.
One thing I was thinking last week when we were in the booth and we heard the score, that you're ahead and then bigger ahead and then won the game, one of the things that went through my mind was this is a build for going into the league. This is showing, you know, the Greenfield's not in your league, but now you're showing the team you're coming to that's in your league, hey, we're not just going to be walked over. We're coming in. We're a football team. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the key was that we're getting better right now, and that's what the McLean game was that from week 1 to now, I think we're getting a little better every week, and we've got everything in now, and the guys' attitude's been pretty solid from the get-go, and that's what it is about. It's about getting to league play now and second half of the season, so we're pretty excited about it.
So, Coach Vanscoy, going on to defense side of football, what's some of the things that you worked on, some things you progressed to get better on over the first 3 weeks with a few losses and then coming back to Greenfield?
One of the things I like to really think about, and we talk about with defense, for me, the definition of defense is to suffocate. If we're defensive, we defend everything that you're going to give to us, and our job is, if we do our 111th, then we suffocate everything you do, and give you no hope for a willing hope of an offensive play to have success. That is what we want. That was what we shoot for. We're growing to get better at that. It takes a lot of time, a lot of struggle to get to the point where we need to be. But that is my definition of what defense and defend is to suffocate everything, because anything you do on my side of the line of scrimmage is an offensive part to me, because now you're affecting my side of the line of scrimmage. And I was taught to defend that side. So we're trying to get to that point. So pursuit, gang tackling, assignments, and knowing that we're doing the best in our 111s of everything we have to do.
So, Coach Olds, on the offense side of football, you come from Kings the past few years. You're an East Clinton graduate. Coach Floyd's an East Clinton graduate. We all went to school together. We was all seniors. Of course, you come from Kings the last few years. What's it like coming in, being an offensive coordinator, taking over an offense, and letting Coach Yankee give you pretty much free reins of the offense?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty happy about the situation right now. I think the best thing Coach Yankee's done for me is kind of turn me loose and let me go. I've had some experience calling the offense before, but I'm learning as we go, and so are the guys, so are the rest of the team. But I think where we're at right now is about where I thought we would be. I think halfway through the season, if you can get most of your offense in by then and everything starts to click, and it looks like we're in the right spot most of the time now, it's just a matter of going out and executing. As far as differences go, our numbers are a little low right now, so we usually have a little bit more depth, but the guys that we have playing are playing hard, and I'll take our 11 against any other 11 you want to give me. So
that's one thing about East Clinton. I mean, unfortunately for East Clinton, you're not near the major highway where there's building. You're not near a major town where you've got factories that pull people in. You're out in the farmland. Massey and East Clinton used to be about the exact same size. Now Massey is growing because they're near the interstate. People are pulling off the interstate and building homes, and they can get back on. So East Clinton can't. So basically, with East Clinton, you've got to find and try to get every athlete that's in that school to play football for you guys. And I see a couple basketball players here, and I'm glad to see them playing football for you guys, because East Clinton can't have, like some schools, the just football players and the just wrestlers and the just you've got to pull every athlete available into the program, and that's got to be hard sometimes to get there's kids that are capable of playing, just don't want to go out for football.
There's students in the school right now that we know could be playing ball, but the guys that we have on the team are the ones that wanted to be there, and they put the time in. Now that was part of what brought me back to this, was I wanted to be back in the small town football Friday night type situation, and I know I'm having fun, and these guys are working really hard, and I think we're going in the right direction.
Coach Floyd, can you tell me, Wyatt and Brendan here tonight, some of the kids I've coached here, what's some of the things they've brought to the table to really to show leadership to the program, some of the things over the off season? I know you guys have been working with them hard. What's some of the leadership skills they've shown?
Yeah, they a lot of the time they lead by example. It's not so much hooting and hollering, screaming and yelling. They do the right things, which brings the youngsters along to say, hey, that's what he's doing, that's what I need to do. So they're more of a lead by example, I would say, type kids that play. They put, they're at every practice. Brendan come over the summer a lot, worked out a lot. Their heart and dedication that they have during season is extraordinary.
Well,
they do a good job.
That's what you want from the leadership. Lead by example. Mainly because you can be a hoot and holler guy, but if you're not doing it yourself, you're just hooting and hollering, trying to build everybody up and trying to be that leader. You can try to be that leader,
right?
But by doing it and them seeing you doing it, that's the main thing, and that's what true leadership is, I think.
Now, Wyatt, of course, your first year you was in with a totally different coaching staff. Your freshman year, last few years you've had Coach Yank, Coach Vanscoy, Coach Olds wasn't here yet, but Coach Floyd, they are. What's some of the things that's changed since you was a freshman to coming in as a sophomore and junior?
There's been a lot. I mean, not just because the stuff's different, but just the new people coming in. You really don't know. I mean, what you're going to have. I mean, it's crazy. I've had these different coaches. I've had basketball too, different basketball coaches. It's hard to get used to. You know, you get used to something, and all of a sudden everything changes, and then you're like, well, what the heck? So you're doing a whole bunch of different stuff, but it's not been too bad.
But you know, practices and things like that, you have great coaches. I've played with all of them, coached by them. The thing is, what makes you want to keep playing? I mean, you guys have 6 seniors this year, and 2 of them, and you guys are great athletes. Some of the best athletes I've ever coached. You guys keep going and showing your true pride, your true passion of football. I mean, what makes you want to keep driving and keep moving forward, even though the other kids are all dropping out?
I just say it's the love for the game. I mean, a lot of guys, you know, well, we're not winning, so why should I play? I'm not going to go play. It's just, I mean, I don't want to back down on these guys and the guys I've always played with, and I don't want to be that guy to just quit just because they're not winning. You know, I enjoy playing a lot.
Is it you're a leader on this team, and I mean that, and now you're getting ready to go play against a big school that's bigger than you. It's Wilmington. It's a rival. It's next door to you, but you've seen who they've played. And now you're going against them. I mean, is it hard as a player to keep the rest of the guys motivated to say, hey, we can beat Wilmington and really get them believing it? I mean, anything's possible. I think you guys could beat Wilmington, but you've got to believe it.
Right.
You know, if the players go in there and going, oh, we're going to lose Wilmington, let's get by them so we can play the next game. You know, you're not going to win that game if that's in their mindset. You've got to get the players, the coaches of trying to get you guys, and you as leaders have got to try to get the other players into following suit and believing that you can beat them.
Right. And that's kind of how, like in basketball, we beat them. No one ever thought we were going to beat Wilmington.
Right.
You know, there's some guys, man, you guys, what, you're going to get beat by 30 tonight?
I've done the play-by-play that night.
Right, and you beat them. It's like, if everybody comes together as one and plays hard, you never know what can happen.
Hey, Brendan, so going on to you, of course, your first couple years you didn't play quarterback. Your transition into a quarterback, what's it been like coming to East Clinton, playing running back, playing fullback, playing tight end, playing linebacker, to transitioning in the quarterback spot?
Well, quarterback isn't anything I've ever played before. You know, everything is on you in the offense. You got to know the plays. You got to know what you're doing. And then switching from an I team to a spread team from my junior to senior year was also hard. But Coach Olds has made it a lot simpler for me, you know, easier reads, easier knowing what to do and everything. So it made it simpler. I think this year is better than last year on me to play quarterback.
What's it like? You know, I've played with Coach Floyd, Coach Olds, and played under Coach Vance Coy. Great guys, great coaches. Coach Yankee, great coach, great coaching staff. What's it like just having somebody that truly cares about you and they want you to succeed like these coaches do? What's that like, feeling?
Well, it's great. You know, everybody's there together. If I mess up, you know, they don't get on me every play. They tell me what I did wrong, what I need to do, what I didn't do right, what reads I need to make. So it makes it a lot simpler for me to see, and they care for me, so I can see what I do right there on the sideline because they have an iPad, too, I can see. So I know what I'm doing right away wrong, what I'm doing right, what I need to do better.
It doesn't bother you when you hear that perfect pass and Wyatt Floyd drops it or anything?
No, you forget and you move on. That's all you can do. You throw a touchdown, you move on to the next play. You throw an interception, you move on to the next play. You just gotta forget about the last.
Coach V, I was going to ask you a question. These two, you know, stuck it out. There's not many seniors on the team. You guys are a young football team, a lot of sophomores. What's that mean to you, having a couple guys like this that has really been stepped up, been leaders, only 6 guys as seniors stepping up? What do they mean to you?
You know, I appreciate their love for the game. I appreciate them wanting to be there in transition, and we talked about transition is very tough. I've been through a lot of situations where we've transitioned many, many years over and over again. They've responded well. I mean, like I said, we are getting getting better day in, day out. The hard work, the efforts, the love to win is starting to burn a little bit more, I think. Last week helped a whole lot. We got a ton of work to do, but I want to see these guys that had their last opportunities to step in that wonderful rectangle that we love.
It's like I said, Coach. These guys, being young, as freshmen, they're coming in. They may have 18, 20 kids as freshmen, and now you see them hold on, and they want to stay being leaders. From when they were freshmen, these guys was leaders. Now that they're seniors, they're still leaders. I mean, how important, Coach Olds, how important is it to have somebody as a quarterback, you're the offense coordinator, to have somebody like Brendan that sticks around, and have a wide receiver like Wyatt to stick around and battle through the hardest times of rebuilding process?
Right. Well, and Brendan talked about it earlier. We switched from more of an I formation type team to spreading things out. Having Brendan and Wyatt, we basically built the offense around the two of them. Everything we were trying to do offensively was designed to try to get Wyatt the ball as many times as we could. With Brendan, he's kind of like the coach on the field. I know that's kind of a cliche, but just a few new wrinkles that we've got put in. I'm counting on Brendan to get guys lined up in the backfield sometimes and make sure the play gets run correctly. So their experience, now that they're seniors, not just from a leadership standpoint, but from getting people in the right spots, somebody that the young guys can look to if they have questions, if they're not sure what they should be doing. We would be lost without them to a point right now, and that's how much they mean to us. Wyatt doesn't drop many passes, and Brendan here in the last couple of weeks has thrown well better than I think I've ever seen him throw it. And I think it's going to continue the rest of the season. I'm looking forward to it.
Coach Floyd, this year, we've grew up, we played together, we've rode together, we die together, same thing, always. All right, we've always hung out with Floyd, we've hung out with Jenks, all of them. I mean, being a part of our family. What's it like having family, coaching family, and letting them ride out their senior year being coached by someone like you?
I mean, that's the reason I do it. It's not, the big picture is teaching these young men to be adults and to be respectable human beings and good in society. It's not, when it comes to X's and O's in football, that's second, in my opinion.
Well, you got two good ones right here.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, I've been around both of these guys for years, from refereeing. Well, but when I go into schools, I can tell, I'm around these guys playing basketball and stuff, which ones are the mature players and which ones are just out there. These two guys, I've watched them grow, mature, and are very, no matter what they do,
yes,
they're going to be leaders in whatever they do. Which, like you said, forget football, forget basketball. In the classroom and out, when they get on to get a job, they're going to be leaders in what they do.
They'll be successful in the game of life.
Yes, they will.
There's no doubt in my mind.
So, Wyatt, Floyd, what does Wilmington Hurricanes have to look forward to seeing about you? What are you going to bring to the table? I want to hear it. I want to know what you bring to the table, baby.
I don't know.
Kill
He says, Coach B says that's dirty pool. I'm sorry. What are you going to bring to the table Friday night? What do they got to offer?
He's going to make play.
Way to take for the answer.
Yeah, he is.
Better make play.
There he is over there. I don't know.
We got you numbered up.
Just hoping really to gather everyone together and just go out there and play. Play your hardest. We'll see what happens.
What's your prediction of the score?
What's your
prediction of the score?
He plays the fit. Brendan Jenkins. Go ahead.
Come on, man. I was going 27-14 Astros.
Yeah, 27-14 Astros. Brendan Jenkins, what does Wilmington Hurricanes, what do they got to expect out of you?
The same thing we've done all year. I'll probably throw 15 to 20 times a game and rush 15 to 20 times a game. That's nothing more, nothing less.
Are you going to do work?
We'll see what happens. It's a week-to-week basis. You never know what I have.
I hope he does.
Coach V, your not really predictions for the game. What can Wilmington Hurricanes really can expect what East Clinton's going to come and do?
Man, the only thing they can expect is if my highest expectations, succeed with our football team, is to come out and play a very good physical football game as best we possibly can, grow in every snap, get great pursuit, tackle very well, secure. And my thing is, too, the life expectancy of an offensive play is 4 seconds for us. 4 seconds and then dead. I mean, that's what I want to see. I want it done. I want it done in 4 seconds or less. That's what we want to hope for. That's what we want to try to keep striving for. If we do that, then we're very successful. But we got to get better at gang tackle. We just got to get better at wrapping. I mean, we got guys to the ball, and we've been around the ball. We got to get better at finishing. We have got to finish when we get to the point of attack. Many, many times we've been able to be in those situations where we've given up things, and it's self-inflicted because we did not finish. And we're getting better at that. We are. We're starting to get more enthusiasm about that. I think we're getting better at that. We're starting to understand the game a little better in our terms and getting lined up a lot better. We got some kids that are, growing up football smart wise, and I appreciate their intelligence and wanting to grow and get on board with that. They're tough kids. They are, and they're responding very well. Love them to death.
Now, Coach Olds, can you tell me a little bit about Patrick Dotson? He's a sophomore. I seen last week he had 2 receiving touchdowns, had over 100. He had a 63-yarder. Tell me a little bit about him, what he's done in the offseason to grow and get better. He's just a sophomore. He's a receiver.
Right. Patty's one of our hardest workers. We like to line up out on the outside and take shots with him. We'll probably do that tomorrow. I don't think it's a secret. He's one of those guys that I think we're going to be counting on for years to come. With him only being a sophomore, we expect big things out of him in the future. And we expect Patty to be sitting here hopefully one day in the same position as Wyatt and Brendan as a leader of the football team on and off the field.
Now, Coach Floyd, when we talk about running backs here, the Whiting kid, Todd Whiting.
Wedding.
I keep thinking of Whitey Letchell.
Yeah.
Todd Wedding, what's he have to bring to the table as a sophomore? Leadership skills, leadership-wide. I mean, how has he grew to become that, fill that spot?
When we first started, 2-a-days, he was green, and he's still green. But one thing you'll get out of Todd, he's going to run the ball hard.
Yeah, he does.
And you know as well as I do, playing at running back some, and you played your whole life, but you'll get the vision at some point. And there's been a couple times where there's been holes I've showed him, and he's like, I didn't even see that. I said, well, that'll come. You're still green. You're just putting your head down and trying not to lose yards, and I commend you for that.
Coach V always said that. Remember when we played?
Right.
Coach V would always be like this. I'd say, I see it, Coach. And he goes, well, that's what I've been telling you, Nugget.
He's already hit me in my kidneys.
So, now going back to Wyatt here, I just want to know, you're a big basketball player. I know you and Brendan both, enjoy basketball and things like that. What's kept your focus into football other than just trying to say, I think I'm going to be a basketball player or I'm going to go work at Kroger like some of these other cats have? What's kept your focus to keep driving?
Really, I'm only going to get to play it once, so I got 10 more games left. Might as well work my hardest the period of time on these 10 games and just... When basketball comes, I'll be ready for that. But as of now, I'm going to work for football, and that's what I'm focused on.
One thing I read an article the other night about kids these days are playing one sport. From the time they're 9 years old, they're being groomed to be a basketball player, a baseball player, a football player. And then there was some doctors talking about how that is not healthy. They need to use all their muscles and bones and stuff the way they're growing to and go from one sport into the next sport. And those kids usually go on and do. And if you look at if you go to look at high state players and look at players that are in the pros. I mean, for instance, look at the player from Wilmington that is now playing for the Green Bay Packers. Groomed for basketball, went in his senior year and said, I played football, made it to football, and now is a professional football player. All this grooming of being a basketball player, he's a football player. So, to me, that tells these kids here, be an athlete, be a basketball player, be a baseball player, be a football player, run track. I'm, of course, being an ex-track coach,
I'm going to recruit them for bowling.
and bowl. Yes, guys, bowl. We need bowlers at East Clinton.
Well, I'll tell you, Brendan Jenkins here. His dad's a big-time bowler, Josh Jenkins. He's an animal
I expect
bowler.
Brendan to be on my bowling team and lead my team
Brendan
this
could
year.
be a bowler, but he's a football player
I
right now.
will be the East Clinton bowling coach this year, so I'm looking for a couple good bowlers.
So,
forget basketball. Go for
Brendan.
bowling.
Moving on to tomorrow night. This is a big game. I mean, Wilmington's a big-sized school. Have you guys prepared any differently this week rather than the weeks before, or is just? I mean, how's it gone?
I mean, it's been the same, but we key on certain people, so it's been different every week. But they have more athletes, so we have to key on more people. I think we have our defense up to where we can key on all of them and make sure that they get anywhere. Not really too much different, but nothing really. But we're checking one, so we, cover one. You go, man. That's the only thing we're doing different.
Did you get a good night's sleep last Friday night?
Last Friday night?
Yeah.
You mean Thursday? To get ready for Friday?
No.
After the win?
After the win. That's what I'm saying. After the win, was it? How did you go to bed? Did you stay up all night?
They just won a football game, Joe.
Yeah.
They won a football game, Joe. He was probably like, woo.
I thought maybe it was relaxed. You just went home and was relaxed.
I slept better.
So real quick, I just want to ask before we get off here and things. Having these coaches here, what's it meant to you? I mean, honestly, as a perspective, having Coach V, Coach Floyd, Coach Olds, having them involved in your life, your last year of senior year football. I of course played for Coach Vance Quinn, played with these two my senior year. And what's it like having them on the sidelines, sitting there, and do they have positive, negative feedback? What's it like?
Well, Coach V here, he gets mad. He'll hit you in the head with his knuckles, do whatever. But he's happy most of the time. He comes through. You got Coach Floyd over here. He's mostly happy. And you got Coach Olds, who's coming to the offense now. He hasn't been too fiery. He's helped me out a lot.
What about Wyatt? What's the coaches like? What's it like having Coach Vance Coy, Coach Olds, and Coach Floyd having them in your senior year? I mean, just give me a little rundown on it.
Right. Yeah, it's one of the things that kept me around.
That's it. Yeah, that's awesome.
I'd like to hear that.
Coach Floyd. I've known him forever, and having him as a coach and stuff, and having these guys is it's mostly what kept me around and kept playing for sure.
Who's your favorite coach? That's a good. Hey, good. That's awesome.
Who's your favorite basketball official?
Joe Davis, no doubt.
Joe Davis. Joe Davis, no doubt. So, Coach Vance Coy, I want to hear something. You walked me out through my senior year. You coached me through the youth league. Coached me on out. What's something you want these fine young gentlemen to remember about football by the time they graduate? What's something you want to leave with them?
I would like to think that, we've left a great impression on when you step into life after high school, whether it be at the collegiate level, whether you get to play any collegiate sports or whatever, is the hard work and what it takes to become successful at what you do. But team, but setting goals for yourself so that you achieve those things, because now you become a better teammate by being able to be that 111th that we've always talked about. I mean, and always. I mean, I like having close contact with the football players because, I enjoy the time with them. Football is very important to me. But you three know. You three that are sitting here at the table know how much I care. I want to see you successful.
And that's the one thing that keeps driving me back. And I know, and I drink the Kool-Aid. I am. I buy everything you say, and says Coach Olds, Coach Floyd, and I'm sure Wyatt and Brendan. And what how great it is to have somebody that cares, and bringing people on the show and this show on 106.9 or campusnation.com. I really want the world to know Coach Vanscoy. I do. I love it because the passion you have for kids, the passion you have for the game of football, it's none than other to anyone else. I've never seen someone care about a sport, care about kids and everything. I mean, what gives you that motive and what keeps you ticking every day?
The good Lord. The good Lord. He made us with elbows, knees, ankles, hips to been in great 45s. If it never been for the game to be played, he'd never bless us with those ankles. 45 is where it's at in most everything you do. So the good Lord, he drives my heart. And hopefully I can pass that on. That's my goal.
And hearing it with Coach Olds and Wyatt, Brennan, I know you guys and Coach Floyd, that means a lot right there. I mean, no matter where you're at, no matter where you're at in life, I mean, we can always know something that we're going to succeed in life, and we have each other. And no matter what, you know, even if we're just a small little community or a city or a small community, we got each other. So I just want to thank you guys all for coming on tonight. It was awesome having you guys here tonight, and I'd love to do it every week. Talking football with my family, it's no different. I mean, I love you guys like family, and you know that's what we are.
We are.
And tomorrow night, I can guarantee you one thing, and that's why I say they're gonna get 110% from you guys. You guys are gonna go out.
You told me you're rooting for Wilmington tomorrow night.
No, I'm not. I'm Scarlet and Gray all the way. We're always. You're rooting for East Clinton. I'm rooting for East Clinton. Wilmington's just where we're living at right now, but I do wish you all the best tomorrow night, and I thank you guys for coming out.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us on.
Yes, thanks for tuning in to WZAA 106.9. Have a good night, guys.
You too.